Okay, logistics recommendation. If you're into prepping or survivalism, you probably already know this information. For those of you that don't, well, here you go. I'm going to be talking about a product. It's Pri-G from Power Research Inc. I will put a link in the description to their website. You can purchase this pretty much anywhere. You know, Walmart's should have it. Your farm and fleet stores, hardware stores, outdoor stores should have the different size containers. This is one of the bigger ones, and I think they actually go up to like 1 gallon. This is a 32 ounce, so this is a 1 quart. Now, you have different types. You have Pri-G, which is for gasoline. You have Pri-D, which is for diesel fuels. They also have Pri-G small engines, which is meant or formulated for your 2-stroke engines. But they said it's okay if you use standard Pri-G in a 2-stroke engine. It's preferred you use the small engine mix. And you're supposed to be able to treat kerosene also. Just look up the information at the website, find out which formulation you need. Now, some info here. This is an industrial grade product. It is designed for refinery use. It restores and preserves most degraded fuels, as long as it's not too old, okay? It removes and absorbs small amounts of water in fuel. And the company recommends if there's large amounts of water in the fuel, the water must be removed by a professional company that handles that stuff. Now, this product contains no alcohol. It is formulated for a mixture ratio of 1 to 2,000. So 1 part Pri-G for 2,000 part of the fuel. It is perfectly okay to double dose the fuel that you're adding it to, but it's recommended you use the rationed amount. They do say do not constantly over-treat fuel when you're preserving it. So if you've preserved the fuel once, twice, don't keep, over-preserving it. Use the ratio that they recommend for the amount of fuel you're preserving. Now, if the package is sealed, it should be stored in a cool place out of direct sunlight. It then has an indefinite shelf life. If it is opened, used, you're supposed to use it within 3 years. This particular package I've had it for a lot longer than 3 years, and I still use it. Hopefully I will use it up this year. That's my goal. Preserve and store enough fuel for emergency use that I use up my container's worth. Now, how much do you use? It says that 1 ounce, and they have a little cup here that goes ½ ounce up to full ounce. Kind of fill it up. You just keep going back and forth to fill it up. But you get the idea. You fill it into the tube and then tilt it so that the air from in here will go up into the tube and the amount will come in here. Fill up your little measuring cup. As I said, they recommend 1 ounce for 16 gallons. So if you break that down, it comes out to about 1/3 of an ounce. So 1/3 of this for a 5-gallon jug. A lot of people recommend make it simple. Go to the ½ ounce mark for your 5-gallon jug. I personally, because this is a lot older than 3 years, I put in a full ounce into each 5-gallon or 6-gallon jug. Now some recommendations on this. Some people will put tags, tie them to the handles, saying when the can was filled, the grade of fuel that was in it, and the date it was preserved, and the amount of the preservative used, and the type. What I do, I number my cans. I get a permanent marker right on the front of the can. What's the can number? And then I have a log sheet that I keep that information on it. I say what's the grade of fuel, the preservative used, when was it preserved, and so forth. Now a single dosing of Pri-G is supposed to last up to, or preserve the fuel for up to 12 months. My personal use on this is I use it at the 8 to 10 month mark on average, unless I really need the fuel bad, then I'll use it before that. I have not gone over 12 months. I have gone 12 months once with a jug of fuel as a test. I put it inside my vehicle, mixed it in with some regular fuel, no problems. Now, if you're using this straight into a gas tank, what they say is pour in the correct dosage of Pri-G into the tank and then add the fuel on top of that so that it'll get mixed up inside the fuel tank. What I do with my cans, obviously take them out, I top them off at the gas station, bring them home, and then I give them the shot of Pri-G before I put them in storage. And then I make sure to tighten the caps good. Now, some recommendations on the fuel cans. My best recommendation is this type, the Scepter 5-gallon plastic cans. Do not use the metal ones. Reason for that, it is a safety thing. Back in the mid-90s, safety message came out on the metal 5-gallon cans. The ones that we had in the units, they were old, they were breaking down, we were suffering metal fatigue on the cans, and some of them were bursting. And that was causing huge EPA spills and potential fire hazards until that stuff got cleaned up. So if you're looking for a fuel can, my recommendation, especially for long-term storage, go with the Scepter 5-gallon plastic. There is no relief valve on these. Store them in a cool place out of direct sunlight. If you store them in a warm area, I made this mistake last year, these things will blow up like a balloon as the fuel inside starts to vaporize as it gets warmer. If that happens, take it to a cool spot in the shade, let it cool down, then slowly open up the cap and let the pressure out. If you open it up before you do that, the fuel's going to come flying out of there. So open it slowly, make sure it's cooled down and so forth. Next recommendation on after that is this type, which you're not really going to find in the stores anymore. The ones that have the emergency valve basically on back here. As this can would pressurize, this will pop open, releasing the excess pressure. When you use this type of can, make sure open up that back valve so that air goes in there. Otherwise it's going to do like the new cans do that don't have these valves, and it'll frickin' spill fuel all over the place. But if you open it up when you're pouring, works just fine. I have not seen these in the store for a very long time, so you're probably going to have to look for them used at garage sales or online. I do have one can here I can show you, one I use for my chainsaw. This is the newer style that you'll basically find out there now with the stupid little push valve on it. There's no safety valve on back. It's got locking cap. I don't really recommend these. The only reason I have it, as I said, This is for my chainsaw. That's the only reason I have this type. But for bulk storage of fuel, I recommend 5-gallon, 6-gallon, what you can get a hold of. You can store it in metal cans if you so choose, but my recommendation, go with plastic, especially the Scepter 5-gallon. So there, you basically got 2 things in this video instead of just 1. So now I'll have to change the title I was going to use. Now for all my engineer brothers and the Patriot militia movements, always remember SAONs.